Okay, good evening. So today we will see the advanced forms using Flask or WT forms. So as of now we have built HTML forms. So it is advanced version of that. So we will be using default Flask forms so that it is easier to whenever a form is required in multiple pages, we can directly use the same code like we have used for header.html and footer.html if it's required on multiple pages in our blog. So similar kind of stuff we can do with this Flask W2 forms instead of writing the code multiple times or multiple locations. So generally, why the Flask W2 forms? What are the differences? So in the Flask W2 forms, it is directly whenever we code, whenever we write the Flask form, by default the fields will automatically validated. Like if it is email field, it will automatically validated if the email is at the rate or it should end at a dot at the end. Uh, without writing our own validation code, and we don't need to repeat our code, so less code dynamically we can write. So as said again, so and built-in CRS protection. So it is a hacking uh, mechanism where hackers can get access to the websites and mainly banking websites. So cross-site request forgery, CRS stands for. So to prevent this attacks, it's by default the CRS protection will be there when we are using Flask forms. So now we will be seeing, we'll be building the same thing with example of using all these WT forms. So the here, so now we are using this WT forms. So this is official website. So as of now we have talked multiple things. So so it's Python web development. So generally it supports data validation and eternization, and more there are multiple things which is automatically supported in the like Flash W2 forms. So now we will be getting that. So here we have given the starting files zip. So on zip, and you can open the folder in a favorite editor. But as of now, just I'm opening the normal, so like a normal folder. So yeah, and I'm opening. There will be templates where by default, and we have a requirement.txt. If we just open this, so it's like what are all the requirements we require. So whenever whenever we develop some project, so this is one of the important thing where all the packages, what are the required for this, we can just give it and we can actually install it in any virtual environment if required, or we can just directly install it. Now, uh, now, just stop. Now, so here we can also yeah. So generally, so just repeating, so what the HTML forms and what are the main differences in W2 forms. Uh, by default, we don't need to write any validations. By default, whenever we create any WT form, the validations are automatically uh, uh, created. So as of now today, we want to be seeing how to create the validation step. But we will be seeing. So just we will be writing less code. So if for any form to visible on multiple web pages, so just like footer.html and header.html what we have written already, and we have given in multiple web pages in our blog project. So similarly, we can do with the W2 forms, and by default it will have CRS protection, like a hacking mechanism protection. So cross-site scripting, it won't allow cross-site scripting, or it will have a tokenized system. So it won't allow hackers to get into our website easily. So here our starting files, and we have all the whenever we unzip it, so we will be having templates folder, my.py, and the requirements where all the packages with versions are there. So yeah, this is like a Flask. So how we will be installing that? We again give in. So we can install it even one by one, or we can just on Windows just open the terminal, and we can even in whatever editor you can, like by charm you can go to virtual console, like there will be console, or you can just in the command prompt console also we can directly give this where this requirement files is there. So if you run this, it will automatically install all the packages what are mentioned inside this requirement.txt. So we have already did that. So now it's like we have to create a login route which renders the login.html and should see runs it. So by default this is not there, so it's like if I just comment it out, so it by default it is just a render template, and you want to see this also. So whenever you open the zip file, so you will be seeing only Flask render template, and by default it will be a Flask app, and just the root uh, the root page or the home page, and we are rendering index.html. So now what we are just want to render is in this challenge, create a login route which renders login.html. So we will be doing it. So we will creating one route again, creator login for login, then login, and we are just rendering this one. So index.html, if you see, this is we will discuss later. So it will be, this is everything is under comments. So it will be only whenever we render this login page, it will be giving only login h1 heading. So just I'm at this location, so just I'm running it. So it is running on 500. So it is running fine, and we are getting login. Okay. So undefined error and form is defined. Where it is login.html. Okay. So there is some tag we have here. Just I'm pasting here. So there is some. So by default it will be something like this only. Now if I just refresh it, it should have. I think it is taking form again. Okay. There is no closing form. Now it is working perfectly. So I just go back. So it is by default what we are expecting. It is as expected. So now the method we will be creating the form. So our reference thing. So now here the main thing is if we just check here from Flask we are importing a Flask WTF, we are importing Flask form. From WTF we are importing a string field, and let's forget about the validator for now. So now what we are creating one class, my form class, and we are passing a parameter Flask form. In this we are passing string field name, and just we are not, as of now we are not passing this validator. So now in the form it's like if you want to use CRSF token it should be something CRSF post action. So there will be input submit and go. This is simple text fields like label is like email text field we can say. So we don't need to write any HTML input tags. So it's like we should have input and password field, they can both be string fields. So for now we don't have to validate this, both email should be of size 30. So here again if I just go back, here you can give the size also, like how many not characters but it's like the size. We are not creating any label manually using HTML except the submit button. So how we will be doing, just so if I just go back here, so I haven't closed the form, so it is. So here what I did, just again the same thing from the quick start. So I just create a method first, and I have given action equal to, so by default we can give login also. Login, so the token we are passing, and email label, so the same thing what we are doing for name here. So the same thing we have did for email, and the same thing we have did for I mean to say the password also. but for both the forms we have to create in main.py. So this I think. So we have to give some secret key also. In main.py we have to create the same thing. So here we are creating one login form, the Flask form. So here we are creating an email string field. So if you see, we can directly give the name. So I can just remove this. I will let you know how what exactly. Password. I'm creating just password string field. I am giving the password. So we have created two things. So now what exactly we need to do is in the login we have to create an object. So if I just go back here, when are we calling the form, or we are calling, so form equal to my form. So if you see the submit button, so as of now we are not using this. So generally we are just returning submit.html and form equal to form. So form is like the form which we have used. So the same thing again, I meant to say this login form. Here we are creating object of that my form and we are passing that form object here. The same we will be passing to here also. So I am just uncommenting this. So now, so what we did, we have created a login from a class where we are passing Flask as a parameter, and then email field, password string field. Now we are creating login form object. So we already know how to create an object from a class. So it's like using this method, and we are returning login HTML, and we are actually in the form the keyword argument we are passing the login form object. So what it will do, it will actually pass all this string fields. So we are actually saying for the Flask form. So because this is the from Flask, we are importing Flask form. In that Flask form we are importing from WTForms, we are importing string field. A password field we will see. So now, as of now, when we go back and when we, it's already written on just when I click on this. Okay, so now we haven't defined a secret key because we already defined a CRSF token, but we have to define CRSF secret key also. So it's like, so this is the way we have to define secret key. So we can give any string as a secret key. Generally it will be any string which is known to us only. So we have to define that, then only it will work. So because why? Because we already defined CRSF token. If you won't define this, uh, the website may prone to CR cross-site scripting hack. So now just I refresh it. Now just I uncommented that. So now it is working perfectly fine. So both are string fields. So even we have login. So this is uh, this, yeah. Now if I see the output, yeah, we are getting output. Now we haven't created, so it's simple. Whatever we see in the documentation itself, we just created the same thing. So we have used the method post, we have used the login like action to that. Like, yeah, this one. So name label and we have given 3030 for email and password. Input is like go on. Now if I just go back now, we will be changing. So today we will be seeing 5 changes. So for our forms. Now, as of now, if you see in the password field, if I just type here, so it is the password is visible, but generally uh, the password should not be visible, right, when our user is typing. So at that time, what we can do is, so it's a simple thing. So in the password field, it will be password field. We are importing from WTForms password field. We are just commenting this out and just commenting this. So uh, so this is the description. As of now, it's a string field. Now password field should be like this. So when I just refresh it, and now if I just type anything, so yeah. And if you see by default, we just given password field, but the WT form what it did, it has added the functionality of view password or not view password also. So that's the easiness in the Flask WT forms. So by default, maximum of the functionalities is already rendered inside whatever the forms we are using. So it's like we need to correctly call all that data. It's all the methods or whatever we are calling. Now here, generally there won't be any quick start. It won't say anything, but we have to prefer adding label equal to and password. So if I just give label, so what significance it is doing is, so in login.html, so if we just give this email.label, so this is referring to this label. So yeah, so that's why instead of better why where this string belongs to, it is belongs to that label. This one. So now again, uh, so as of now we have used just go back, we have used by default the normal, but it's better we will be using URL for, so it will be double braces, double braces, URL for, so a login is nothing but the method name. So again, if I just go back into main.py, so yeah, this is the method name. So we are just calling depending on this method, so we will be calling this page like the decorator. You can say this login URL. So the next part is like, Okay, sorry, it should be here. So generally we can use the same kind of uh, for example, if you want to use something like this where the elements instead of side by side, if you want to get below, so we can use HTML tags. So for example, inside a paragraph, and if there is a break, so it will be this label and then the form size. So it will be break, it's like pressing enter button there. So the same thing function is. So here so here nothing got changed. So we have just added the form label inside a paragraph tag, and inside paragraph we are just adding break tags. So it will be I meant to say bullet kind of stuff. It's like just entering thing. So now if I just refresh this, yeah, now we are getting whatever we are expecting. Now there are multiple fields. So here instead of, as of now, if you see carefully observe, we are using input type equal to submit and login. So instead we can get rid of this also. So if I just go back to our documentation where all the basic W2 forms are there. So it's like submit field. So it's like it's represent input dot submit. So here what we will be doing, we're going back to main.py and we are just creating submit field. We are giving label equal to login. In the login field, instead of this tag, we can just input tag, and we are giving form.submit. So it is nothing but again the same thing, but we are using WT forms. So whenever we call, we are saying the submit button. So it will be the same thing, like there won't be any change. So when I just again go back and refresh it, why it got disappeared? One second. Oh, sorry. This this I haven't. So submit field. Okay. Because of that, our uh, okay. So we have to import this first. Because of it is why it is failing. Yeah, now perfectly fine. So again, we just I'm checking the password. So here we haven't used any HTML maximum of the time. We haven't used any HTML input fields. Maximum of the time we are using the WT forms kind of stuff only, and we are just creating all the to say elements, like for example email, password, and whatever submit, whatever thing we are creating inside the login form class. So it's like more of Pythonic way rather than a HTML website. So it's like the Flask mainly. So it's like the Flask form. So we are using mainly a double like Flask-WT forms instead of HTML forms as of now. So yeah, I think today for today this is it. So tomorrow we will see like validators, uh, how to create validators in WT forms, and then we will be seeing how to authenticate, how to get a hold of the data. Already we have seen HTML form, HTML where how to get hold of data whatever a user enters the data. So the same thing, how to get hold of data is when we are using WT forms, and then we will be seeing Bootstrap Flask also. It is again another instead of directly using Bootstrap, there is a package called Bootstrap Flask. How to use that we will be seeing tomorrow. Think, yeah, that's it for today. Thank you.